Okay, picture this. You're chatting with someone, maybe at a party, maybe work, and the conversation's going great, really flowing.
Mm.
And then it just hits you. You know this person. You know you do. But their name, poof,
Okay.
vanished. Just completely gone. And you get that little wave of panic, right? While you're smiling and nodding.
That internal scramble, it's the worst. Trying to look calm on the outside while your brain is just frantically flipping through files. Yeah, it's universal.
Totally universal. And that feeling, that specific, slightly cringy moment, that's what we're going to dig into today.
Right, we're looking at why we forget names. It happens to everyone. And maybe more importantly, how to handle it without, wanting the ground to swallow you whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission really is to use this conversation we found, a real kind of fly-on-the-wall example, to pull out the actual language people use.
Yeah, not just the vocabulary, but the strategies. We want to equip you, the listener, with ways to navigate this. We'll look at specific phrases, what they really mean in context, and maybe some sneaky tricks too.
Okay, let's set the scene then. We've got this guy, Nick. He bumps into Anna. They met like last week at a conference.
Okay.
And you can just sense his immediate uh-oh moment. He cannot remember her name.
And they actually had a good chat before, right? About foreign investment or something.
Yeah, exactly, which almost makes it worse. Like we
Yeah.
had a proper conversation I should remember. That kind of feeling.
Oh, absolutely. The stakes feel higher. So Nick's embarrassed. What's his first move? Does he just freeze?
Well, he tries to play it cool. And his first sort of subtle tactic comes out with this phrase, in a bit of a hurry.
The classic I'm in a hurry.
Right. It's not just about moving fast. He uses it strategically. He says something like, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card.
Okay, so he's handing over his details, hoping she'll do the same.
Precisely. It's an indirect prompt. Give her his name, hope she gives hers back on her card. It avoids that awkward, silent pause where he's just, like, mentally sweating.
Yeah, it's a social lubricant almost. It gives a reason for the quick exchange. You hear it all the time, right? Can't talk now, in a bit of a hurry.
Or, gotta run, I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Mhm.
Simple phrase, but here, very tactical.
Definitely. So what happens next? Does it work?
Well, he tries another angle, too, kind of building on the card thing. He asks her, you still have my contact details, right?
Okay, contact details. So we're talking name, number, email, the works.
Exactly. Everything you'd find on a business card, pretty much.
And again, it's a subtle probe. He's not asking for her details directly, but reminding her about his, maybe prompting her to offer hers in return.
It's another attempt to get the name without having to say, who are you again?
Which brings us to those real-world tactics. You mentioned asking for a card. That's definitely one of my go-tos in a business situation.
Seems so simple but effective.
It really is. It's polite, it's normal professional practice, and bam, the name's usually right there. Problem solved, no awkward confession needed.
Okay, but what if they're like, I don't have any on me? Or maybe it's not a business setting.
Right, good point. Well, another little trick, if asking for a card feels weird, is to ask them to jot down their email address.
Because the name is usually in the email address itself.
Often, yeah, like anna.smith@company.com. Or even if it's not, the act of writing it down might involve them saying their name. It's another discreet option.
Those are genuinely useful tips, things you can actually use.
I hope so.
But, sometimes. Sometimes the clever tricks don't work or you just feel you have to own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to Nick's next line, which is the big one. Slip my mind.
The direct admission. He finally just says, look, this is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind.
Yeah, and slip my mind is interesting, isn't it? It feels
Yeah.
softer than I forgot.
It does. It implies it wasn't intentional, wasn't carelessness, just, oops, a momentary lapse, like something just slid away accidentally.
Right. Like, sorry, I meant to call you back. It just slipped my mind. Or that awful moment when you forget a birthday. Oh, no, it completely slipped my mind.
Exactly. It signals it's an accident, which kind of invites a bit more understanding, hopefully. It lowers the stakes of the forgetting.
It gives the other person a chance to be gracious about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It opens the door for empathy.
Speaking of needing grace, I had this terrible moment once. Family reunion, huge thing.
Oh, dear.
Loads of relatives, some I hadn't seen in ages. And I walk up to one of my uncles, start having this great chat, laughing, catching up.
And then?
And then blank.
Yeah.
Total, utter blank on his name. I knew him. Obviously, he's my uncle. But the name, gone.
Oh, no. What did you do?
I think I just kept the conversation going vaguely for a bit, then had to, corner my cousin and whisper, quick, who is that?
Did they tell you?
Yeah, they were like, "That's Uncle John, you idiot." Well, maybe not idiot, but
That's
uh,
not big one.
just called him Uncle for the rest of the afternoon. So awkward.
Oh, that sounds painful. We've all been there, though, in some form, which leads perfectly to how Anna actually responds in the dialogue.
Right, because Nick confesses, "It slipped my mind." And she immediately says something really helpful.
She does. She says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm terrible with names, too."
Terrible with. That's the key phrase there.
Yes. Terrible with just means you're bad at something, you're not good at it.
But her saying, "I'm terrible with names too," that's brilliant, isn't it?
It's a fantastic social softener. Instantly makes Nick feel better, less alone. It diffuses all that awkwardness he was feeling.
Yeah, it normalizes it. Like, it's not just you, it's me too, it's okay.
Exactly. It builds a little bridge of shared human failing. You hear it used for lots of things. Our sources mentioned examples like, he's terrible with numbers,
Or, "I'm terrible with directions, I always get lost."
or even, she's terrible with faces, can't remember what people look like.
I have to admit, I could be terrible with faces sometimes,
Right.
especially if I meet someone out of context. Numbers too, definitely not my strong suit.
Me neither. Faces I'm okay with, but numbers. Nope. That's why we talk for a living.
Huh, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, terrible with great phrase for admitting a common weakness gently.
Okay, so we've got these key phrases for handling the awkwardness, but what about just sounding natural in the conversation generally, even during that tricky bit?
Good point. Like Anna's greeting when she first sees Nick, she just says, "How's it going?"
Right. Which is so much more common and casual in everyday speech than, say, how are you doing?
Yeah, how are you? Can sometimes feel a bit formal, depending on the situation. How's it going?
Hmm.
Just flows.
It sets a relaxed tone immediately, even if Nick is internally freaking out.
Totally. It's just natural, everyday English.
And then they talk about location, using those around phrases. Nick asks if she lives around here.
Meaning, nearby, in this area,
Uh-huh. And Anna says her office is right around the corner.
which emphasizes it's really close, like next street over, or
Yeah.
practically next door. You might say, "There's a great cafe right around the corner."
Exactly. And then there's the slightly broader around there. Like if someone mentions a city, oh, Boston. Yeah, I used to live around there. Meaning near Boston, in that general vicinity.
All super common ways to talk about place that just keep the conversation moving smoothly.
Even when one person's brain is still buffering on the name, it's quite something how these little bits of language work.
It really is. When you look at it closely, you see how much relies on these small phrases and shared understandings.
And if you were to listen back to that Nick and Anna chat now, knowing about these phrases,
Oh, yeah.
it would sound different, wouldn't it? You'd hear the strategy behind in a hurry, the hope behind contact details, the relief when she says, I'm terrible with names too.
Absolutely. You see the whole social dance playing out. It's much clearer.
That little aha moment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So just to recap quickly, we've looked at why names sometimes just vanish, and we've pulled apart the language toolkit for dealing with it.
Right. From the strategic moves like being in a bit of a hurry or asking for contact details.
To the honest confession, it slipped my mind. And the power of empathy with, "I'm terrible with names too."
Plus those fluency boosters like, how's it going? And ways to talk about location, like around here or right around the corner. And we threw in some practical tips too.
So hopefully this gives you, our listener, a bit more confidence for those moments.
Mm.
It's not just about learning words, it's about understanding how to use them.
It really is. It's about navigating those common little bumps in social interaction more smoothly. Having the right phrase can make all the difference between feeling awkward and making a connection.
So here's something to maybe think about as you go about your week.
Mm-hmm.
How much does our social comfort, our ability to connect, really depend on these small things, like remembering a name?
Yeah, and how much power do we gain just by having the right words, the right strategies to handle those moments when our memory fails us? It transforms awkwardness into something, well, human.
What other little social hurdles could we maybe overcome just by focusing on the specific language we use? Something to mull over.
Definitely food for thought.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.